Hey y'all, it's Katie. Welcome back to From My Vanity. I got a comment on a recent video saying that, I can't remember her name and I'm so sorry. I did save a screenshot that's on my computer, so I'll go ahead and insert it here so you guys can see. But she posed the question of like, I'm wanting to get into more indie brands. What are your recommendations? Do you have a top 10? That would make a great video. And I was like, oh my goodness, that would make a wonderful video. I am going to do that. So that is what I'm doing today. We're going to sit down and talk about my top 10 favorite indie brands. And I mean, if you've been following me for any length of time, I feel like none of these are going to be surprising, but we're still going to go run through them. Gonna try to keep it brief and to the point, and if you are curious at all about more information on any of these brands that I talk about, you can easily search on my YouTube channel, type in the brand name and all my videos related to them will pop up so you can get more in-depth information. But yeah, I figured it'd just be fun to sit down and kind of chat about the brands that I really enjoy and can highly recommend. I'm going to throw in 2 little bonus ones at the end to make 12. Yes, I know, I always have to add a little extra, but I just couldn't stop at 10, and I wanted to add a couple bonus ones. So let's just jump right into it so this video doesn't get too long. Okay, number 1 on my list, should not be surprising, but it is Menagerie Cosmetics. This brand has my heart. I think at this time I've tried pretty much at least one of everything she offers. Oh, that's another thing I meant to throw out a disclaimer. If I've only tried one thing from a brand, I'm not going to include them just because I feel like I don't have a big enough grasp of the brand as a whole. So there's a couple brands, like what was the brand? Oh, like Caladios, I almost mentioned them, but I've only tried one palette. So I figured, if they have more out, this lash is popping off and going to annoy me. But if I've only tried one product from them, then I just won't mention them. I hope that's okay with you. I just felt like I should have, if I'm recommending my top 10, have a little bit more of a feel for the brand as a whole. So anyway, yeah, Menagerie Cosmetics, I've tried her eyeshadows, I've tried her liquid lipstick formula, and I'm in the process of trying her new powders that she just launched, her setting powders, which I'm very excited for. But her liquid lipsticks and her palettes are phenomenal. Now, I've always said it, but I'm not the biggest fan of her shimmers, but her matte formula, the best, my favorite by far. And her liquid lipsticks are extremely comfortable and long wearing. I really do like them. So had to, like when I sat down to write my list, Menagerie Cosmetics, I knew was going on the list and I knew it would be my number 1. Number 2 is Give Me Glo Cosmetics. Now this one I'm a little bit new to, but I do have a palette, the Juicy Olive palette. I've tried 2 of their eyeshadows and I've tried their highlighters, so I feel like I'm getting there. I'm starting to explore more from the brand, and overall I really do like them. They have their little nuances, they have their little hits and misses, which I'm going to get into in a brand review coming soon. But overall, I really do like the brand. I really love the Juicy Olive palette, and their highlighter is intense. Oh my goodness, it's intense and beautiful and gorgeous. Very unique formula, very buttery smooth formula for their highlighters. Is very beautiful, and if you like a very intense, like see from space type of highlighter, check out Give Me Glo's highlighters. And then that Juicy Olive palette is my favorite, and I am totally getting their newest launch that's coming out soon for summer. I think it's called the Extra Spicy or something like that. Super excited for that. But yeah, it's a great formula, and I feel like very, very fairly priced. And I didn't mention that with Menagerie, but both these brands, Give Me Glo and Menagerie, I feel like they're very fairly priced for being such like high quality and nice packaging and very well thought out, well presented. Like Menagerie Cosmetics, the artwork is insane. I love it. So overall, like for the price you pay, I'm often just amazed. Like they're one of those brands, well, both of them are, Menagerie and Give Me Glo. They're that brand that if they increase their price by $10, I would still pay for it because I feel like it's still worth the price. Next up, the brand that I would highly recommend is Midas Cosmetics. I actually have her newest palette on my eyes today. Oof, it's a powdery mess for my setting powders, but I have the Smokey Glow palette. This is a collaboration with the YouTuber, but this is the 4th palette I've tried from Midas Cosmetics, and it's as I would expect. It's what I expect from her formula. The mattes are very pigmented. The very bright shades show up that bright on your eyes, which I appreciate because there are those brands that you see a super intense bright shadow in the pan, you put it on your eyes, and it's more like subdued or pastel, or you know what I'm talking about. No, with Midas Cosmetics formula, what you see in the pan is what you can get on your eyes. Sometimes it takes a little building, like with the Lemonade palette, I felt like there were some yellows that took a little bit to layer on top of each other, but they do layer and they do get more intense. It doesn't just like all puff away or start to get patchy or anything like that. I really love Midas Cosmetics as a whole, but the quality of their products are also really, really great and very affordably priced, might I add. Like they're not super inexpensive. I'm not gonna say that. I think these quads were like $10, $12, but you can always get a 20% off coupon. They have their affiliates listed on their website. I am an affiliate with them, so I have a code with them that'll get you 20% off, so that kind of takes it down. But anyway, relatively reasonably priced, and I really do like the brand as a whole. Okay, moving along, I had to include ColourLit Cosmetics. This is a brand that I really hope for big and wonderful things in 2020. I felt like they were pretty quiet last year, at least to me. I think I'm on their PR list. Like, I was on their initial PR list. That's how I learned about them. That's how I've tried from them. They've always sent to me the products that I've tried. But last year with 2019, I really didn't hear much from them besides the addition of 2 liquid lipsticks to their collections or to their, their line and whatnot. So I'm really hoping they bring out something fun for 2020 and that I can continue to try and recommend them. But I always recommend their lashes. They have really beautiful lashes, and something that I find unique is that they have very full and very dramatic lashes with bands that are very easy, like very beginner friendly, I should say. I am not an expert when it comes to putting on lashes, but I find the ColourLit lashes are very easy to apply and just very easy to work with, but they're very dramatic, and they have a very bendable but not too bendable type of a band, so it doesn't get too stiff, even the more dramatic lashes that I've tried from them. And then, like I said, they also have liquid lipsticks, which I've tried, and it's a very comfortable formula. But yeah, I think those are the only 2 that I've tried. I think that's the only type of products they have available so far, so I'm curious to see what they come out with in 2020. But I feel like ColourLit, at least in my circle that I'm on YouTube, isn't really talked about and isn't very well known, and I want them to be well known because their products are so spot on, so good quality. I definitely highly recommend ColourLit Cosmetics, and I cannot wait to see what they do in 2020. Next up, I have to give it to Lethal Cosmetics. I have tried a palette of their shadows, of the like single shadows. I forget what the... Oh, it was the Hive collection, duh. I tried their Hive collection, and I've also tried their highlighter in Isotope, I think is what it's called. Both are stunning. The eyeshadow formula is so blendable and beautiful. It's one of those formulas that you almost don't have to think about it. It's very effortless to blend into each other. You don't have to worry about, eyeshadow sticking in certain areas or something just being too difficult to work with. They all mesh and blend together well. Now, granted, I did buy the collection, so, they put it all together to mesh well together, but I just find them very effortless, their formula with their eyeshadows. And then their highlighter was stunning, so bright, so beautiful, and I felt like it was more a highlighter you could like wear on natural days without looking crazy. Like, I wouldn't say the Gimme Glow is one you want to put on a natural day just because it's so intense if you really layer it on there. But the Isotope one, you could apply it very lightly, and I felt like when you were just kind of looking straight on, it looked very natural and it wasn't anything too crazy, but when it caught the sun or caught the light just right, it was so beautiful and intense. And overall, I really enjoyed the formula, and I really enjoyed the glow it gave the top of my cheekbones. So yeah, those are the only 2 things I've tried from the brand, but I really do enjoy their formula. I really do like the brand as a whole. Great quality, fantastic quality, I should say. And yeah, I'm curious to see what else they come out with in 2020, just to see if I can continue trying from the brand, but definitely made it onto my recommendations when it comes to indie brands to try. Next up has to be Mavie Cosmetics. They came onto the scene in, was it 2019 or 2018? I think it was 2018, and they released a bunch of palettes and blushes and little quads and stuff like that, and I grabbed 3 of their palettes, and then last summer they came out with another palette, and then they just recently launched a mascara that I've tried. Their palettes are so much fun. I haven't really been showing them, but just thinking about them makes me want to reach back for them. This is Take Me to Tokyo. Like, do you see how fun the color stories are? This is Take Me to Hong Kong, that my son got into. He likes to watch it too. And then this one, Istanbul, is a little more neutral, but still really pretty. And then, nearly forgot this one. I think it was my favorite one, Take Me to Santorini. Like, look how beautiful and fun that is. It's just a really fun array of colors. And I remember having so much fun with the type of looks I got with them. And this, like, I feel like it's been a while since I've tried the very colorful palettes, probably around when I got them a year and a half or 2 years ago. So I want to kind of bring them back out, but I like their formula. They're very nice. I do remember that when I first get them, they smell heavily of like chemicals, but it's all gone at this point. Their mascara I just recently tried. I really do like it. It is bulletproof when it comes to their waterproof claims. Like, it's not just waterproof, it's like oil proof, it's like everything proof. So if you need a mascara that will not budge, check out their, I think it's called Hidden Talents mascara. It's fantastic. But yeah, overall, really enjoying Mavie Cosmetics, and I'm curious to see, excited to see what they come out with now for 2020. And I just like that they kind of put it around a theme of a place, so I can't wait to see what place they go to next in 2020. This one should come as no surprise, but it is Juvia's Place. My all-time favorite palette from them. The Tribe palette is gorgeous, and I have been thinking about reaching back for it and creating a look. I just haven't got around to it. Really busy with new eyeshadows, but definitely want to get to that palette again in 2020. They have so many great palettes, and on my face today, if you were wondering what my highlighter is, it is the Tribe highlighter, the pressed one. I think it's in like volume 3 is my shade. But like, I think it's beautiful. I've been so impressed. And it's one of those highlighters that when you look straight on, it looks normal. Like there's no kind of cast on the face. There's no kind of reflectiveness going on when you're looking straight. Like it looks, my skin just looks normal. But when you turn, it is so intense, so beautiful, and just, you catch that light and it almost looks like a natural type of highlight. Not kind of like Gimme Glow is very much like you have a highlight that you want to see from every different angle, from every different way, from outer space, from down in the ocean. That's Gimme Glow's highlighter formula. But this Juvia's Place one is much more like, oh, this is my face, how it naturally looks, but ooh, when I turn, you get a very blinding highlight. I hope that makes sense. I'm not saying it's a very subtle highlight. I wouldn't call the Juvia's Place subtle at all, because in my eyes, this is a pretty intense highlight, but it's one that's kind of hidden until you hit the light right. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, all that to say, I highly recommend Juvia's Place as a brand, as an indie brand. I really love their eyeshadow formulas. I love the layouts of their palette, the uniqueness of their palettes. Kind of like I was talking about the Mavie, how their color story is just very unique and fun, and it takes me outside and it makes me think outside the box and kind of just think of different ways to use these colors and mesh them all together. And that's, you know, the same vein with Juvia's Place. Their color stories are always so fun and different, and overall their formula is very nice. I feel like in recent years it's been a little hit or miss. I don't know if it's because I'm trying more brands or maybe they're changing up their formula, but I feel like the last couple of palettes, there's been some like misses in there, but overall, I do highly recommend the brand, and they're very affordably priced, and you can pick them up at Ulta. Okay, next up I have to give it to Colored Raine. First palette I got from them was the Queen of Hearts palette, which I feel like was so popular 3 years ago whenever it came out. It was the palette to have, and while I really liked the formula, the color story wasn't really my vibe, so I thought it was a great formula. The color story wasn't anything I was crazy about, and then, where is that palette? There it is. And then when I saw Colored Raine, I was like, ooh, I want that because it's like grungy and beautiful, and the formula is so good, and the grunge is so fun that, oh, this palette was so much fun to play with last year, and it made it into my, I think it was top 10 eyeshadows from 2019, so definitely a brand that I recommend. Their formula is beautiful, very pigmented, but I find very easy to work with still, and their metallic formula is also beautiful, very smooth, buttery smooth. Some shadows are a little easier to work with and not as chunky as others, but overall stunning, and I highly recommend Colored Raine. Next up is relatively new to me, but it is Glo Cosmetics. Now, I've only tried 3 of her multi-chromes and 3 different types of eyeshadow formulas, but her eyeshadow formulas are stunning, and I really do want more because they are just so beautiful. Her shimmer formula is very intense, very easy to apply on, very effortless, and just so impactful that when you have them on, there's just so much dimension and just shiftiness and, I guess, glitter you would call it, but reflectiveness going on your eyes. It's beautiful, and I really enjoyed that formula. And then also her multi-chromes are a lot of fun when you just want to layer them over your eyes. Multi-chromes are gorgeous, beautiful, and they don't take a lot of work to show up, which I appreciated. So that's definitely a brand I enjoyed trying out the past couple months. I think it's the newest brand to me on the list that I've tried, I want to say. Yeah, everything else I've, tried in the past, and this Glo I just tried last month. But absolutely loved her as a whole, and wanted to include Glo Cosmetics on my list. Okay, next up, and I think this is number 10, is Blush Tribe. It has been a while since I've really bought much from Blush Tribe. I think I've just bought the, what is that, Hasina 2, and then the Paulina palette. I don't know where that is, but those 2 palettes are very nice. Once again, one of those brands that has a very fun, unique, and different type of formula, and I just enjoy working with them. As I said, I haven't tried too much from that brand just because it is overseas. I forget where the brand is located, I'm so sorry, but conversion rates and then shipping rates to get to US on top of that to make the palettes more expensive, so I tend to not buy too often, even though I'm eyeing her green palette. Was like the Lila 2 or Lila 2 palette. It's like a green theme palette. I just talked about that recently in the palettes that I didn't buy because I'm on YouTube. I'll have that linked up here. But overall, though, I really do enjoy the brand, and I really do recommend them, and I'm curious to see what they do in 2020 as we are gearing up. I think it's been a while since she's done a launch, so I'm curious to see what she comes out with next. And as I mentioned, I just want to throw out there as my 2 kind of, what would you call, honorable mentions. They're 2 brush brands. I didn't want to include them because I wanted to focus on the makeup for the top 10, but I did want to mention them because if you're someone who wants to try more eyeshadows, these these are two indie brands that I would really recommend. And I should have said this at the beginning, but all these brands, I hope that they are indie owned. I kind of did some Googling, and just from the, like, you know, talk around the YouTube space, the beauty community, I know them all as indie, so don't crucify me if one of these brands isn't or something. I really tried to look into it more, but I'm not very good at it. Anyway, Sigma. Sigma is a fantastic brush brand that I highly recommend. I am an affiliate with them. I have so many Sigma brushes, both that I've received in PR, but a lot of them that I've bought, and they're just fantastic quality that hold up really well. And then the other one I wanted to mention is Stilazzi. If you want to try more brushes, but you don't want to spend the price tag of Sigma, check out Stilazzi brushes. There are some hits or miss. I've done a couple videos mentioning Stilazzi brushes and kind of my recommendations. So maybe check those videos out if you want to hear which ones to stay away from and which ones to check out and maybe get, but they're a little bit more affordable than Sigma. So if Sigma's out of your price range, check out Stilazzi, wait for a sale and grab some brushes. I have several brushes that I've bought multiples of from Stilazzi because I enjoy the brush so much and it works so well, and I like to have backups because I like to use them all the time. So yeah. Wanted to make it very brief here at the end, but had to give a shout out saying that Sigma and Stilazzi are fantastic brush brands. Alright, so there you have it. Those are the top 10 indie brands. I kind of feel bad. I always hate to do top 10 like this because I'm always like, well, what if I'm leaving out a brand I love? Like, you know, Sydney Grace. That's a great brand. You know, Makeup Geek. Who else was I thinking of? But these are brands that I kind of wanted to focus on the lesser known and the brands that I get most excited for. So this definitely isn't the only 10 that I love and recommend, but these are the top 10. So yeah, I always feel a little bad when I make top videos like this because I'm like, what if I'm forgetting someone? What if I'm forgetting a brand and whatnot? So take it for what it is. These are just 10 brands that I would encourage you to check out if you're wanting to try more indies. I feel like you can't go wrong when it comes to these brands. You can get a lot of good products. You can get a good experience with these brands. And yeah, overall, I just really recommend them. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it informative. Let me know down below what are your recommendations when it comes to indie brands. Is there any I didn't mention that I've never featured on my channel? Let me know. I always like to discover new indie brands and maybe I'll check them out and try them out. But yeah, with all that said, thank you guys so very much for watching. If you want to hit the thumbs up button on your way out, that would really help me out. But with all that said, I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye guys.